Hey, what's up, everyone? This is ShadowFox007, and I'm bringing you episode 2 of Retro Week. Today I'm gonna be presenting an old classic game called Bubble Bobble. It came out in 1986, so it's definitely before the last game. Let's put it that way. Very simple game. The objective is to destroy these little guys, the enemies, with your bubbles. So you have to trap them, and then basically stomp on them, and then collect the little things to get more points, because that gives you life. And very simple concept, but it does get very challenging as time goes on, and you guys can see it with the gameplay. But very simple concept, and I think the favorite part of the game for me is the music, even though it's a repetitive 8-bit whatever, because it came out in the NES. I don't know, when I hear this song, I think this is one of those, it's just iconic. And that's another thing, you do want to avoid having them hit you. Very simple. But I didn't want to talk too much. The gameplay speaks for itself. It's, like I said, a very easy concept for people, and it's Bubble Bobble. You could play it, I think, even in Flash games now. So if you're on the internet, that thing, go ahead, check it out. I would recommend it. I had a blast playing it. But the real thing I really wanted to talk about or mention is kind of explain why I chose the name ShadowFox007. When I was younger, and for some reason, Shadow kind of just resonates with me. I don't know if it sounds cool. I mean, in my opinion, it sounds cool, or it sounds dark. It just has all these connotations that I kind of like. And I don't really want to go into all the things, but for some reason it just appealed to me. And other people, bananas appeal to some people, sea nanners for example, and I don't know, that just, Shadow was one of those things. So always when I had an alias, I decided to have some form of shadow in it, and like I said, because it just kind of personified something that was in me, if you will. I felt like I owned some of that. And so when I was trying to make a handle for the PlayStation Network, you have to come up with a name. That was like step one. And so I was like, oh, let me do Shadow. But of course, my hopes and desires were thwarted because someone else used Shadow. Who would have figured someone else liked Shadow? But so I had to try to come up with different names that weren't in use, and I really didn't want to do Shadow 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I wanted to do something that kind of sounded cool, flowed, and I wanted definitely a name that someone can say, easily. Because like I said, I think Call of Duty is what brought me over to the PlayStation. So COD 4 for the win. That is what really brought me over, and so I wanted people to say my names because I played it and I knew what they were all about. And so I was like, oh, let me try Shadow Dragon and Shadow Egg, Shadow Box, Shadow Cat, and a lot of things. I was like, oh, this is a silly name. And then the ones that weren't taken were even worse, and then the ones that sounded cool were always taken. So I was like, crap. But then I ended up going through different animals, and I was like, oh, fox, Shadow Fox. Hey, that sounds kind of cool, because Shadow Box sounded cool. So I was like, Shadow Fox. I'm like, all right, cool. We're on the way there. And so I decided to do that. But then before, I was like, no, I want something. Maybe I'll put a number, my favorite number. And 7 is not my favorite number. But 007 is my favorite series. James Bond is, I'm just a huge fan of it. So I was like, yeah, that sounds cool. I'm like, I got the Shadow, I got the Fox, who's very clever in my opinion. So I'm a strategist. I like doing strategies when I play COD or whatever. So I was like, oh, cool, that works. And then I have 007 because I have a license to kill. I'm like, oh, yeah, that all works. And ironically, pretty much anyone when I play online calls me Shadow. So I still have the Shadow name, but, it's kind of cool. Some people call me Shadow Fox for short, and call me whatever. Call me, hey, you guy with the name. That's cool. But that's pretty much what got me to the name Shadow Fox 007. And like I said, being a huge fan of not GoldenEye, sorry, James Bond, but GoldenEye I liked. I really kind of wanted to talk about the movies because I'm a huge movie fan. Something you guys either knew about me or didn't, and I really like the James Bond series. I like what they're, like I said earlier, I like what they're doing now though. They have Daniel Craig. He's very rugged. You know, he gets hurt, he gets damaged. Well, maybe not damaged. He's not like a bot or something, but he gets hurt and he gets cut, he gets shot, you know, falls from a train and whatever. And he has issues. This is a man that clearly has some issues. And that, I like that. Versus the older ones, which like I said, I still liked. It's just they were very debonair, and how the writers, I think they did on purpose. They never made it seem like James Bond was ever in true danger. I mean, this man could be on a table and the laser is gonna basically cut off his balls, and the guy's like, "Don't worry, boom, gadget, go, I'm free." And you always knew that was gonna happen. There was always some gadget that he had on him that somehow got him out of a situation. But you know, I know a lot of people think that's repetitive, but I enjoyed it. You know, like I said, I sometimes like watching movies that you know what you're gonna get. You know, for James Bond, you know you're gonna get a hero, you're gonna get a villain, and typically you're gonna get a damsel in distress. And I was a huge fan of Q, and he always gave James Bond crap, so hopefully the new Q does the same. I mean, spoiler alert on that. Sorry if you didn't know and watched the new one, there's a new Q, but now you know. And yeah, anyway, but since I'm on the movie topics, I did want to talk about something that I watched recently. It's a notion that Hollywood writers, for some reason, always have to have this like epic battle. For some reason, they have to, you know, they can't use guns. It's like, all right, the rule for the last one is no one shall use a gun. You can use a stick, you can use a knife, you can use your feet. You can't use a gun. Anything with a projectile. And I don't know why they do that. I mean, I think I know why. I think they want to make it suspenseful. They want to show the last battle is like, this is a really bad villain, and they don't want to just end it abruptly. But sometimes it's just silly. I mean, I was watching, spoiler alert, Jack Reacher, and there's a scene where Tom Cruise decides to really, he has the guy. I mean, he has the guy in his sights. He just needs to pop him in the head, get this movie over with, and that's it. But he's like, nah, drop my gun. Fuck that. Let's go fighting. And I was like, are you fucking serious? No. You either shoot the guy in the knees, shoot him in the arms, and then beat the shit out of him. Don't drop your gun and be like, let's have an honest fight. No, I'm like, dude, he's a fucking bad guy. He's killing everyone. Just kill him. You know, I mean, you could hurt him really bad, and not torture him, kind of torture him, but you know, make him suffer a little, and that's okay. You know, like I said, I think we've evolved that our heroes don't need to be the most nicest, if you will. Like, oh, we're gonna have a fight, and I'm not gonna really kill you, bad guy. Yes, I know I killed 20 people getting up to you, but I'm just gonna do this like quick kick, and you're gonna go falling down the steps, and then you're gonna hit like this pole that's been sticking out because somehow you threw it there and it broke, and you accidentally really just killed yourself. I was innocent here. You tripped on your own shoe. And I don't know why they do that. I get really annoyed, and I've seen it so many times, and it's just something there. And there's a movie that I would actually have people look at, and like I said, I'm on spoiler alerts today, but there's a movie called Unforgiven, and you guys really should watch that. It's Clint Eastwood, and he just fucking beats ass. And I don't want to spoil it too much. I might go into it another thing, but because I know I'm going to be dying soon. Yes, that's a spoiler alert. And this is going to be pretty much wrapping it up. So unfortunately, for now, this is Shadow Fox signing out. Catch you all later.